heart was yearning, but now I can see the white guilt in my heart is dying away, is dying away. You fooled me a while, you thought you were wise, you even believed I fell for your lies, but the tricks turned on you. Now gladly I say the white guilt in my heart is dying away, is dying away. Your movies don't thrill me like they used to do. Your words only chill me, I'm glad that we're through. My heart was once yearning, but now I can say the white guilt in my heart is dying away, is dying away, is dying away. You mistreated me, I tried to be fair, but you don't believe in doing your share. But I've learned my lesson, and now I can see the white guilt in my heart is dying away, is dying away. Your movies don't thrill me like they used to do. Your words only chill me, I'm glad that we're through. My heart was yearning, but now I can see the white guilt in my heart is dying away, is dying away. You fooled me a while, you thought you were wise, you even believed I fell for your lies, but the tricks turned on you. Now gladly I say the white guilt in my heart is dying away, is dying away. Your movies don't thrill me like they used to do. Your words only chill me, I'm glad that we're through. My heart was once yearning, but now I can say the white guilt in my heart is dying away, is dying away, is dying away.
American schools are hotbeds of anti-American brainwashing. Teachers and administrators are trained to indoctrinate and enforce ideological conformity. Submission is the norm. Crucible is the true story of one schoolboy's struggle against society's obsession with an anti-American ideology. This young man refused to surrender to the psychological abuse of his superiors and the violence of his peers. In Crucible, Child Patriot American Victory, two visions of America collide. One is left standing.
One final testimony here. This is from Nathaniel. I just found this, and it speaks to me on a lot of levels. Too many forget that the continuance of a people should come from the love of one's own people, and not a hate for the other. I hate the mistakes I made. I wear them every day, and some I even wish I could take back. But time is merciless and flows only forward. I'm trying to rectify them, but some I may just have to live with. It's an uphill battle. Listen to this guy, No White Guilt.
Listen to this guy, No White Guilt, No White Guilt, No White Guilt, Listen to this guy, No White Guilt, No White Guilt, No White Guilt.
Everything from being a man to encouraging your kin to face tattoos, to how you identify yourself and your beliefs, to discerning your motivations for why you want to see the children of the West survive. Don't make my mistakes. You'll feel like a fool otherwise. Don't make my mistakes. As from Nathaniel Nelson, a warning to him about the warnings that he wished he had somebody share with him.
Listen to this guy, No White Guilt, No White Guilt, No White Guilt, Listen to this guy, No White Guilt, No White Guilt, No White Guilt, Listen to this guy, No White Guilt, No White Guilt, No White Guilt, Listen to this guy, No White Guilt, No White Guilt.
And we're rolling in once again tonight. Let me know if you can hear me all right. I've been awake for days. Don't do this to your health. Don't do this to your health. I'm still recovering from the throat injury. But it's great to see the folks here who could show up here at almost 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, as there are some very interesting things going on right now. And I was talking with Rapunzel and about this, and thought that, and I mentioned it earlier on the roll-in short, and I thought, you know what? It might be worth mentioning. It might be worth mentioning tonight, and maybe get the ball rolling with this, because people don't seem to be talking about it. So let me pull up. I'm getting these things pulled up as we speak. So it looks like I have a current story from Washington Post is reporting on this. And I'll put this up on the screen. It's on their Twitter. So I'm Travelers here. He says, sorry couldn't be there at the conference with you to back you up. Well, thank you for that, good brother. I deeply appreciate it. I'll be talking about the conference, the shieldings or sildings. I believe when I look at it, if it's Scandinavian and my limited knowledge, it's sildings, but perhaps a lot of people were saying shieldings. It sounds better. And so perhaps they're right and I'm wrong. But it does sound good that way. And I'll be talking about it on Sunday because there are a lot of lessons that I've learned over the years about conferences that, just confirming again, going in different places and some good times and getting to see Yiz the Unifier in action is always just like beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. It is like Italian super sport cars in motion. It's a beautiful thing. But a lot of nice guys there, a lot of good folks. So we'll be talking about that on Sunday during the gathering. And hopefully my voice will be even better by then. It's been recovering. It's very slow. Biospirit of the West is with us. Great to see you, good sir. He said, just saw Kate's link in the group chat. Glad I didn't miss the show. Well, thank you so much for showing up, brother. And a big thank you to Kate for dropping that link. I see Promethean Promulgation is with us as well. Fantastic. Yes, I've traveled, went to the Shieldings event. And this is, I guess, in part, we're going to be talking about the Shieldings event insofar as the travel was involved on the way back. Because something is afoot. And I was speculating, and it seemed like I said, it could be this. And if it is, maybe we'll see some more of that. And sure enough, we're seeing more of that. At a bare minimum, we're talking about anti-whiteism and what anti-whiteism does and why the meme curative of when you have diversity, you can't have excellence, and eventually you can't have competence is so very true. And we're seeing this. This is the breakdown of Western civilization, and it will be this is definitely the proverbial frog in the pot. Temperature getting turned up. You'll just learn to put up with things not working like they used to, and then you'll have these stories, and it'll be sort of the reverse of the seniors today, where they said, well, in my day, everything was harder. Well, you'll be able to say, in my day, everything was easier. In my day, the justice system actually had justice. So we'll make sure. I haven't had an opportunity to work on entropy to make sure that chat widget works, but we will get it up and running. So no worries there. But great to see everybody. Have you all heard about this right now? What's going on? All of the flights, hundreds and hundreds of these flights, delays, cancellations, and wild excuses, promises, flight crews missing, flight crews tired, flight crews showing up when there are no planes for them. Have you heard these things? Have you had loved ones in the airports all across the Eastern Seaboard? And they've been telling you some of these wild stories, like what in the world is going on? The mainstream media, the anti-white mainstream media, saying nothing about this. That should immediately clue you in to something is afoot. Something is not right now. And so I'm wondering, why aren't more people talking about this? I mean, it's not really my wheelhouse, as you know, to like dig into what this entity or that entity might be doing at the moment. But insofar as this overlaps with the effects of anti-whiteism on Western civilization, on the individual constituents of Western civilization, white and non-white people, and how the outcomes therefrom negatively impact our lives, insofar as it does this, overlaps with that, then that definitely is my wheelhouse. That's what we do here. By the way, one of the things I'm going to talk about on Sunday is just how truly remarkable you are, how very different, how unique, by the genuine sense of the word. I didn't qualify it. How unique you are in this community as an activist for white well-being, putting an end to anti-whiteism and benefiting the lives of everyone across the West. You are genuinely different. There's so much commonality, of banality, and almost like this crippled nature, this frivolous nature elsewhere. You all are truly remarkable folks. So God bless you. Make sure you pat yourself on the back. And when you see yourself in the mirror, make sure you see the prettiest or the handsomest hero from the West of any period you pick, because that is the spirit inside of you. Don't forget it. It's a truly remarkable day in which we live. So we have these things going on. How about this one? Airlines telling you that they're not flying, or they can't fly, or they are flying, but things are running way behind, or you have to take these detours because the weather is so bad. Have you had any relatives? Have you been one of them? I want to hear from people. I really want to hear from people. I mean, really, this is kind of like Tim's sort of wheelhouse. So maybe somebody needs to get a hold of him and Murdoch and tell him, hey, look at this live stream Jason did. He said you need to be roped in on this and to cover this story if he hasn't yet. I did not see that he had. So if he has, then that's my error. But maybe that's more of his thing. Maybe even Semiagog. Be kind of cool to have maybe him and Semiagog on. And what Semiagog's contacts are saying. And maybe there is some sort of historical lead up to this that maybe could potentially provide some insight. But saying that, well, there's horrible weather. It's bad weather. And you look out the window and it's clear blue skies. Talk about gaslighting. They did that to me. And I'm not the only one. I'm not the only passenger on an aeroplane here in the eastern side of the United States that has been told some serious Bravo Sierra the past couple of days. People have been stranded. We have tweets from all over the place. I mean, I don't even know if we'll be able to get to all of them. We got tweets from so many people talking about how they've been flown one place, some of their bags flown to a different place, and some of their bags flown to a completely different place. How's this happening? Well, I suggested from the very beginning that it really sounded to me, and this was like my initial like whoa sentiment was this: anti-whiteism has provided us with a dumbing down of all of our systems, of all of our structures, of all of our operations across the West. And the United States is no different. That, of course, creates opportunities for foreign states or other entities to attack, to hack. And it seems like there could be, I'm speculating, there could be some widespread attack on aviation right now, on airports, even on all the way down to individual airlines, telling pilots to come to work when they have their days off, telling pilots to not come to work when they're supposed to work, and then they don't show up. And the airlines and all of these disparate entities that normally just have to operate on their own, Delta doing one thing, United doing one thing, American Airlines doing one thing. And then also you have these aviation hubs. There's one in, I think it said, where in Virginia here, Warrenton or something somewhere. and they're doing their thing. And so they normally don't have to like coordinate. And so you're getting all of this very bizarre mixed signaling. Now, why is it more than just a pain in the ass? You get your flight can't make it. You can't make it to your destination. You're told, for example, you can't fly to DC because of thunderstorms. And yet you're on the phone with somebody in DC that says the skies are blue. So why is it worse than just being stuck somewhere, missing your honeymoon, as we have a people on Twitter talking about all of these different things? Families, you have families bags with the breast pump in the bag and the child on 6 bottles left and no other way. Child doesn't drink formula, no formula available in the airport anyhow, but they can't find the bags. The bags are all jumbled. The bags are all lost. They're not going to be able to find your bag. And they call that an inconvenience for people. Why is it worse than that? Well, it's worse than that because airplanes, although you look up in the sky, and maybe if we have some pilots, I know there are a lot of pilots in the white sympathetic sphere, well, more the white positive sphere. And so if there's any with us tonight, maybe they can speak up or speak up in the thread. But you look up at the sky and you see this 3-dimensional environment and you think planes could just be anywhere and everywhere. But that's not how it works. There are air highways and they fly planes down these highways. And they do it in a very coordinated fashion, a very white fashion. One might even, if you want to be very precise, a very German fashion. It's going to be like, these planes go here, these planes go there, and then you have no problems. Everything is organized. Nothing's running into each other. You can time things perfectly. It's very mathematic. It's a wonderful thing. Very Western. And if that is being interrupted, you can have planes running into each other. You can have planes hitting each other on the runways. You can have airplanes trying to land on top of other airplanes, airplanes trying to take off into the bottoms of other airplanes. Real chaos. Are we on the verge of that? I mean, we're seeing some really wild things right now. The wild lies. And I'll get into what I personally experienced. Rapunzel, what she experienced. And I'd like to hear from others, if there were any others that, I know there are others that flew to and from, specifically it's the Sealdings event. Did you have any experiences that you would like to share at 11:11 tonight on the eastern side of these United States in the once great state of Virginia? And we are rolling in. It's great to see everybody. You can financially gift over the course of this roll in, however long it will be, not too long, because I haven't slept in days. I've been awake for days. My eyes, I don't know if you can see, they're bloodshot. They're bloodshot. Don't do this to yourself. Sleep is very important to your health. But you may financially gift at Cash App. It's up and running. You may financially gift at Entropy. It's up and running. Cash App will also take cryptocurrency. You may financially gift over at Odyssey, cryptocurrency and cash, at DLive and cryptocurrency, and over at nowhiteguilt.org, clicking on the financial gift tab to find a snail mail address where you can mail me letters if you like, but also some wallets for cryptocurrency if you would like to. Maybe you'll find the information useful. And like a good Westman, you decide to give back when you receive, in love, in total love. So here we are. Let me go ahead and pull up this story right now. Otherwise, please tag me as No White Guilt, and I will interact with you. We will have a splendid time. I will speak to you in my very raspy voice. We can get, when I was doing the short earlier about the wild times in the south of Chicago, I was just like, maybe this should all be like that whispering. Maybe I should just do these stories like whispering to you. See how that goes. Probably terrible. Oh, well. Meanwhile, you have things going on in Russia that don't mean a damn thing for us. But there are people out there that want to talk endlessly about it. They find it, I get it. They find it interesting. Like, what's happening on the other side of the world? You know what? I could just make up a total story. Would be better than reality. You would be completely fascinated. And you would never really know the truth, because you'll never know the truth about Russia either. So if you're going to be entertained, then you might as well get one hell of a story, right? Because I really know what's going on in Russia now. I'm going to go out there and make a difference in the world. Whatever. I'm a little loopy. I walked into I was driving many hours, and I walked into this petrol station, gas. Walked into the petrol station, and the guy, I was just like really out of it at the moment. And the only thing I really knew is that I had to get to the bathroom. And the guy at the front, he's like, "Hey, sir." I was like, "What the hell?" And there's like 5, 6 other people, and they all look over in this place. I spin around, and he said, "You can't come in here with those guns." And I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? I don't have any firearms on me." Then I was like, "Oh shit, I got a tight t-shirt on." It took me, it felt like 20 seconds to figure that out, but I'm sure it was only like 18 seconds. Ash, what's going on? Great to see you. Yes, the ASMR, the as Mr. I will do the as Mr. White Well-Being. I have to do my lips like, this is what the blood sounded like as Jeremy bled out. Hey, I'm not making those stories. I'm just telling you about them. Shelly Babes is here. Great to see you. This is my first live stream here. It's great. Wow, that's fantastic. Welcome. Glad to have you. The great Elaine Sabatino is here. We have a wonderful community. You have any questions, just pipe up. And these wonderful, glorious people, best people you will ever meet. That's what everybody says. They will be happy to help you out and make you feel right here at home, because this is home. This is your home, kind of in your home, because you're probably at home watching me live right now. But if you're at work, then it's like you're home away from home. The great Franklin is here. Jen is here. Great to see you, sister. Roger is here. We'll get this story up. Owning anti-whites, anti-white goblins is here. Promethean Promulgation. Great to see you, brother. And he says, I love red eyes. 12 ounce of dark roast strip with medium roast. Oh, I gotcha. Was that Kona bean espresso? My favorite drink. Sounds powerful, my friend. Yeah, I don't know if you can see. I can't see myself. I don't know if you can see. I hope not. Especially this one right here. I think it's really just like, I was driving. It wasn't good. I'll tell you more about it on Sunday. We'll get to this. This is important stuff. It's very strange. These things that are happening are very strange, and nothing. The government's saying nothing. Of course, they would say nothing. Do you think they're going to report to you how significant systems in the functioning of these United States are under attack and failing? And they're all making these wild. They're saying fires. They're saying fires. Fires at the airport I traveled to. I'm not going to give all the details away. But fires I get to this airport, there's no fire. Now, there could be some sort of like small fire here, small fire there. But that's what's shutting down? No, of course not. And then they drop the fire story. Then there's not a fire. Then there's something else. Then there's a power cable. And then there are storms, and it's the storms doing it. And then it's the flight crews that are overworked. I mean, the excuses are unending. And it's all happening like this at the same time? Really? The fires, the crews that are overworked, the thunderstorms and the clear blue skies? Strange. Cool, Papa J Magic is with us. Great to see you, good sir. Owning Anti-White Goblin says, I just hope whoever wins. I was telling you, I was driving, and I can, by the force of my will, I can do like anything. I can just be like, I am doing this. And I learned that from my father. And, but I was driving, and all of a sudden my eyes start doing this weird thing. They would go like this, and everything would turn like liquid. All my surroundings, I couldn't see. It was like everything was like a runny liquid, and then it would come back, and then it would go again, and then it would come back, and I thought, I'm gonna die. I was like 80 miles an hour, 85 mile an hour, and if I like just go unconscious, then that's not going to be good. It's not going to end well. So 5 minutes of sleep. And then there was a little bit of fear as well, which might have kicked on some adrenaline. And I was able to overcome. I stopped. It stopped, and I could keep going. Like the Titan, like the Promethean I am, I could keep going. So in many ways, many ways, I can keep going. Owning Anti-White Goblins, I just hope whoever wins the Russia-Ukraine conflict cares about white people, regardless of ethnicity. But that's probably not going to happen. It's not, I'm afraid. I wish that were true. But they will happily fight to the end of white people on both sides of that conflict. No problem there. So, yeah, it's sad. Really sad. More brothers' wars. And what's really sad is when normal white folks are like, take adamant sides, and they're like, kill the white people on the other side. You know, like, no, stop it. For God's sake, stop listening to these anti-white elites out there that are just trying to just smash heads together endlessly. All right, let's see. What else do we have? Odin Saya is with us. Great to see you, brother. Davey is here. Victorian time traveler. I'm going to tell you what I tell myself. Your life is not yours to throw away. Well, I appreciate, yes, thank you for that. Thank you very much. I really appreciate, you're a good guy. You're a really good guy. Promethean promulgation, I'll have to try it out then. If that's the real deal, let's go ahead and pull this up and take a look at this. And then I'll tell you about some personal experience. And when Rapunzel joins us, she can share, because she has had quite an experience as well. So quite an experience. Ugh. So let us see. Of course. Is it there? No. There? No. That ain't it either. Let's try this again. Mike's still working all right? Ain't it? I have no idea why the software sometimes does this. Maybe if I do that. I can see it. I mean, I'll just start reading it to y'all. It doesn't have to be on the screen for y'all, right? Wait, here it goes. That ain't it. Come on, show up on the screen. That's it. All right. Overheated power cable blamed for DC area flight delays. That's the new one, because the old one was saying, let's see if that will. Oh, you know what? It was over here. So let me just pull the mic, and then we won't have to go searching over there. We'll just do it here. Okay, so we had NBC News flights to DC, briefly grounded. Horse Sierra, they're still being grounded. People are being given flights. They're being scheduled on flights that don't exist. They're being scheduled. Now tell me, how does this happen? If this is not I'm speculating that it's a cyber attack, probably from another nation. They're being put on flights that don't exist across multiple airlines. They're being put on flights and then canceled because there's no crew. How could this happen? How could it be just like general widespread incompetence that just hits all at once? So the incompetence is there and the inability to fix the problem is there, but that opens the door for an adversary to break in and wreck things massively. All right. People are being told that, and check it out for yourself, because I'm just looking at NBC News. I'm looking at Washington Post. I'm looking at the Globe and Mail. I mean, I'm looking at different news sources. You look at news sources and then you get a complete picture. All right. Hot mess, says NBC4 Washington. Travelers stuck after FAA orders ground stop at DC area airports. Now, this was 15 hours ago. NBC News, get ready. Just 15 hours ago. It's constantly changing. Flights to DC area briefly grounded. As I said, it's Georgia. It's airports Georgia, Tennessee, South Carolina, North Carolina, I guess Maryland, New York, New Jersey. Okay, so it's kind of like, well, just to DC. 15 hours ago, NBC is saying, caused by communication system issue. Now, 4 hours ago, it's an overheated power cable. Are you shitting me? Who's believing this? Why are people talking about this? Was anybody else on a flight? Can anybody else speak to this? Matt is here. Jacob is here. The great Irish Nick is with us in the house. Great to see you, brother. Anybody else? Elaine says, I've got the recipes. We can cook our own Chinese food. Oh, that's funny. Oh, she's cooking with no white guilt. So for those who are new, if you're busy doing something while you are listening or watching, you say you are doing the thing with no white guilt. And it has the double entendre meaning me, I use it as my moniker, but also you have no white guilt as you're doing it. So whatever that might be, you could be hiking with no white guilt. You could be bathing with no white guilt. It can get quite steamy. So she's cooking and she's got the recipes, so we can make our own Chinese food. Precisely. Remember all the way back, this was like 5 years ago, and I made that statement over with Mark, and I was getting kind of fired up, and I said that I will happily have Swedish girls serve me my shish kebabs. You know, like, I don't need like an authentic person from whatever part of the globe that originated those things. You know what I mean? I would much rather have like the authentic Swedish girls serve me the shish kebabs and their cute little dresses. Let's do that instead. All right. Biospirit of the West says, hey, no white guilt. Dandy Westman posted a great tweet today showcasing the issue of competency crisis. Very topical to the show tonight. God, thank you for telling me that. I will definitely retweet that. And it is absolutely very relevant. Fantastic. Dandy Westman is like deciding that his name will be enshrined for all time. I mean, just active everywhere, every time I turn around. Very impressed. We'll celebrate him on Sunday. Audio is great, says Mike Hawk. cool name. Thank you for that. Just got a new headset and the volume is very good. Thanks, Jason. So I won't play like any loud clips that cause your new audio to melt down. The speakers to melt down. I won't do that. Eve is here. Hello and welcome. So, overheated power cable. This is where it's at now. The problem came after the airlines and regulators spent months preparing for an onslaught of summer travelers. So the excuses are coming in now. These are the excuses that that are just going to come hand over fist. As Western civilization, the things you've come to rely upon just get worse and worse. Your opportunities for redress as well, and this is what we talked about. Has talked about so many times, especially during the summer where the anti-white attack troops were just going into the cities and like burning down every Starbucks and trash can. And that would be fine if it were just those places, but also churches and libraries and things like this, and attacking people out on the street, killing people, running police over with vehicles, just on and on and on. Hold on. I know I wanted to say something about the beginning of this, so I don't want to forget what that was, but I got to remember what it was. Shoot. I'll stick with the redress thing. We'll see if that thought from before we got started comes back. I said we were able to see that we didn't have the opportunity for redress like we used to, because too many nodes of power on the hands of anti-whites. So you appeal whatever mistreatment, whatever wrong that you suffered. It could be with your cell phone contract. It could be for a charge for a parking ticket that you didn't deserve. It could be all kinds of things. And you find that you land almost universally now with some sort of anti-white who doesn't care about the job, is not going to do the job, who hates you because you're white, or to various degrees just automatically dislikes you, and maybe competent enough to do the job, but too lazy and feeling too entitled, and therefore not going to do it because they just owe it to me, kind of a thing. This is just going to become the West as things continue to deteriorate. So here you have the excuses. Well, we were preparing. It was this huge summer onslaught, and that's why the power cable went bad. Are you joking? A ground stop that delayed flights Sunday at the Washington region's 3 major airports for more than 2 hours. It's still going on, in my opinion, of course. But that's why people are still getting cancellations and etc. So here you are with the propagandizing and trying to downplay, trying to diminish what's actually happening. Blamed on an overheated power cable at a Federal Aviation Administration facility, the agency said Monday. The FAA said technicians were conducting routine inspections of power panels at its Potomac Terminal Radar Approach Control Center, TRACON. This is TRACON. What would you like for lunch? When a temperature reading indicated one power cable was too hot and needed to be replaced. The facility in Warrenton, Virginia. Did I say Warrenton earlier? No. I think I might have. The facility in Warrenton, Virginia, oh my gosh, I know exactly where this is. I know exactly where that is. About 45 miles west of Washington, provides air traffic control services for airports in the D.C. region, Richmond, and Charlottesville areas. Dave Sperro, president of the Professional Aviation Safety Specialists, he was tasked with giving the excuses to whitewash the failures. The FAA Technicians Union said a routine inspection found some equipment overheating on a critical breaker. If this is routine and if it's to prevent things from happening, then why did something happen? Right? Quote, when you're running that much electricity through things, you want to check it on a regular basis. That's what my doctor keeps telling me about my health. Because heat is what destroys things, Sparrow said. It would be so much better if it were Jack Sparrow, wouldn't it? Could you imagine him being the head of that union? Technicians coordinated an outage so they could replace a cable and no, you didn't coordinate an outage, because then things would have been prepared for it. Flights would have been prepared for this. So no, Bravo Sierra. I call Bravo Sierra. Replace a cable and continue to work on the system overnight. Had the problem gone undetected, Sparrow said, the system could have suffered a catastrophic failure. This is why our folks are there, Sparrow said. This is the kind of stuff that happens. That's profound. That's why he's in charge. The FAA said flights resumed by 7 p.m. Sunday. The agency is investigating what caused the cable to overheat. So this is more just lies, right? Ooh, well-being. We're all about that. The pause combined with delays in New York and elsewhere because of thunderstorms. The ones you can't see. The ones that don't come out of storm clouds. And elsewhere because of thunderstorms contributed to 2 difficult days of travel for air passengers during a relatively trouble-free summer. It came after airlines and regulators spent months preparing. Did you remember Buttigieg? Remember Buttigieg saying that, we're not going to hire white. And then they came back and they're like, oh, no, we never said that, except you did. Except when you say you're going to hire a diverse workforce, and we all can see the people who are not considered the diverse ones, never has an anti-white said, we're looking for diversity. Where are some white males? We want to hire them ahead of everybody else, and then we're just going to fast track promote them to the top. Never. So hiring people on the basis of their sex and on their race. That is obviously a recipe for failure. I mean, even Tucker Carlson was saying last year and I guess earlier this year that people are going to get killed because of this. And then you had, what was that airline? What's the airline? One of the airlines, maybe it'll come back to me. One of the airlines was saying that it was even, I guess, against their rule, against their policy to be critical of a female or non-white, maybe it was Southwest. And even Tucker reported on that. I'm sure it's all lies. Just get all your news from CNN, MSNBC. Because then YouTube and elsewhere, they will treat you well. But I mean, even he was reporting on this and saying people are going to die. And remember, they had one of the pilots on. I just remembered this. They had one of the pilots on. Tucker did, from Southwest, and Tucker was like, "This is very brave of you to come forward." And he's like, "I know, but," and he's a white guy, and he's like, "I know, but somebody's got to say something." The way we prevent accidents in our industry is when we see somebody do something that could endanger lives and equipment, that we immediately say, that's wrong. Don't do that. But at Southwest, I guess supposedly I wasn't present for the conversation or the manuals that they're putting out. We're saying that this is some sort of form of racism. This is this is being very naughty, and to do that because these people have been so trod upon wrongly so for so long, and now you're going to criticize them for trying to land by pointing the nose of the aircraft into the runway. How dare you? Of course, just put their family on the plane and they'll change their story really quickly. According to flight tracking services, FlightAware, more than 9,000, so 10,000 flights within, into, or out of the United States were delayed Sunday, and more than 1,400 were canceled, with even more flights canceled Monday. Monday's cancellations were the most in one day since the start of the summer travel season. So I'll take a look at some of these Twitter posts. It's remarkable, really remarkable. And then we got a couple of photographs. I don't know if I want to be able to show them today. Where someone had been sent what was it now? Cancellations for two. Oh, cancellation because this was what it was. Cancellation, your flight's canceled because it never left New York. Is this right? Never left New York. And then cancellation for the same flight because, what was it? Now in Charlotte, but for a different reason. So the flight, where's Rapunzel? Was that it? The flight canceled at one point because the flight never made it to Charlotte. It's in New York. And then they message again, oh, it's canceled, but it's in Charlotte, but it doesn't have a crew. So which is it? That seems like some hacking going on to me. And what was it? How many months ago was it? 6 months? When was it? And what airline? Does anybody remember where somebody came over the speakers in the airplane while it was flying, making like gas noises and things like this, gastrointestinal noises. And I mean, this is what you end up with. All right, let me grab some of these. And I'll tell you my experience, what happened with me. So I go to the airport. First thing, the airport at Nashville, which was near where the event was like unbelievably slammed. And people were just like, I'd not seen an airport ever. And I thought, what in the world is going on here? You know, people are running this way and that way. And I said to Rapunzel, was like, this is crazy. Is this just like, is this somehow like a new normal for the airport? But I think not. The whatever it was, the attack had already begun. And people's flights were being moved from one gate to another. That was another thing. People are being told, oh, your flight's at whatever gate. Then they get there and they're like, the flight's not here. It's too much weird stuff going on. And then the crew show. So I get to my flight and I get on the plane and there's no crew. And the flight crew, the flight attendants, kind of unsavory folks, were not interested whatsoever. I mean, they were just up at the front and they were jabbering at each other and they were just laughing and carrying on, and they didn't care at all. In fact, I think I got to look up one of the quotes. Not going to happen tonight, but maybe on Sunday. I don't know. But one of them is like, I'm going to fly the plane. And the other one was like, it gonna be like Sonic up in this joint or something like that. I was like, are you serious? Really? That's how you talk? You're an adult. You're at your work. You have to deal with people. But all right, so no crew. So everybody on the plane patiently waiting. and no crew, and no crew. And then finally they say, oh, well, the crew's coming. The crew will be here soon. And eventually, just to cut it short, crew shows up and the pilot says, we're late today because something happened at Dulles. And they have rerouted flights all over the eastern seaboard. And I was like, what in the world? So he said, we had to fly way off where we were supposed to be. And then we came back. And then that's why we're so late now. And we're just getting in. And so we got to start the plane. We got to let it warm up. Apparently a plane is like an old car. You have to like get it going and let it sit in idle for like 5 or so minutes before you try to do anything with it. Or you're just going to strip all the gears out of it and it's not going to work anymore, I guess. I don't know. So he's like, yeah, I got to fire this thing up because we just got to let it warm up. I'm like, why haven't you had this thing running all along, for God's sake? So they fire the plane up. But this is what he says when he goes into the cockpit. He said, and this is where it got weird, or even weirder, because he said, I am not going to allow my crew to serve you for the first 30 minutes of this flight. Now, when does a pilot say that? Just by the by. But he says, I'm not going to allow my crew to serve you for the first 30 minutes of this flight because of how bad the turbulence is that's caused by the bad weather. So I'm sitting in a window seat. And the first 30 minutes is not the last 30. I know that 30 is going to be the 30 we taken off in, right? Because the weather is so bad. So I just look out at the blue sky. And I think, is this some kind of wild gaslighting shit or what? Are you joking? And there's a part of my brain that was like, well, maybe in aviation speak, of course, he knows he's talking to the laity, right? But in aviation speak, maybe bad weather doesn't mean storms. Maybe bad weather means like invisible to the naked eye air currents. So I kind of let him off the hook. I was like, well, it's not bad at all. It's perfectly blue skies. It's actually a nice temperature. The sun is out. Couple puffy white clouds here and there. But maybe there's going to be really bad turbulence, like he says. So we take off. And I've flown a lot. I mean, not like somebody who flies for a living or somebody that has to travel a lot for work or any like that, but I've flown a lot, and every flight I've been on has had turbulence. I don't think I've ever had one that didn't have a little jump, little rumble, maybe here, maybe there. I have been on some that had some big rocking and rolling, but I think everyone I've been on has had a little bit of bumps. That first 30 minutes, nothing. How could you get it that wrong? Was that an outright lie? Or were their computers hacked and telling them that the sky is completely wrecked with different currents of air going all these different directions? Or is it something completely else, completely different? Is it the incompetence of anti-whiteism and the hiring and the people working on the equipment? The people reading the outcomes that the equipment is measuring? I don't know. Nothing. And then, as is typical in every flight I've ever been in, there was a little bit of just the tiniest amount of bumps. Maybe the least turbulence I've ever had on a flight. just a couple little bumps. Yeah, I'm waiting for like the end of the world turbulence. Just a couple little bumps. And we get beyond the 30 minutes in the flight. And I noticed something that was kind of strange. Maybe just something that was accidental by the pilot. But I don't know what you call them on a plane. The headlights, they were on. They were on the whole time, I think. But I've never seen that before. I've only seen them turn the headlights on when they're coming into land in the dark. So just another curiosity I thought I would add. And then here we are, mid-flight, no turbulence to speak of, and the flight attendant, I guess the chief flight attendant, apropos, says there'll be no service on this flight because of how bad the turbulence is. I shit you not. I wish I had been videotaping this. I would have immediately uploaded it. No service on the flight because of how bad the turbulence is. When there was no turbulence. Had the flight not been stocked with the things they needed to provide service because of some other computer glitch? Now, meanwhile, while that is happening for me, right before I'm getting up in the air, Rapunzel is being told that her connecting flight is, what was it that there was no flight crew because they had been overworked. I think that was maybe the first lie. How do you schedule a flight crew and then say, well, we've scheduled them a bit too much. Sorry, no flying for you. I think that was the first one they told her. And then I don't know if she shows up. Maybe she can share some of the others. It gets wilder because she had rolled out to take off, but they didn't take off. And she then tells me that they had canceled that flight. And was that when? Yeah, then it became weather. That's it. So then they said, well, the weather in Dulles is so horrific, you can't go there. Well, I was in DC. There was no bad weather. I had landed. I was there. They were telling people in other cities, you can't go there because of how bad the weather is. And it was clear blue skies. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. This is hardcore deception on the population. That's childish. That is asinine. So then we had the stories about the airport had been on fire. Dulles had been on fire. There was no fire. Nothing. There was no sign of some significant event. What was the other one? The other lie they told? Shelley says, trust the science. No white guilt. It's for the greater good. Yeah. Elaine says, oh my God, that sounds horrifying. Yeah. I mean, when you are in a plane, like your life is in the hands of these people. And they're telling you there's no service because of how bad the turbulence is. And nothing is happening. It's smooth as ice. So then Rapunzel ended up trapped in another city with hundreds and hundreds of people. And then scheduled for flights that no longer existed. And that was happening to tons of people. This is some serious shit. Let me pull up some of this. You can see what folks are going through, and then we'll get out of here for tonight. I want to get to some of these videos because they're playing. I think Rapunzel, you had the scary like audio coming over the airport where it was like this: a severe incident has happened. Information will follow, and then nothing comes. No information comes. Let's take a look at this one. All right, let's see. So this is at an airport. American Airlines delayed flights for more than 14 hours, and it's keep going without explanation. Everyone is frustrated. What is even going on? Writes that person. It's all over Twitter. People are having just insane experiences. Let's pull up this one. And then I'll take a look at what you all, if you got any questions or financial gifts or comments. Let me take this one down. Ain't it? Okay.
We're just going to walk it. So we got the customer service desk up here. People trying, but they've canceled a few flights at this point.
And the other thing is Rapunzel was put in a special service line or something like this. Hundreds of people long.
And the line, well, these folks over here have been waiting for at least 5 hours to get to the point where they are. And this thing goes for a while. We're just going to walk it. Got some beds here. No one's getting out of here tonight, that's for sure. This is what we got to deal with if we want a refund, because the link that they gave us doesn't actually work. So it's this or eat the money.
This is another thing that's worth mentioning, is that the remedies that the airlines are trying to provide, a percentage of them that sounds higher than like just incompetence, are just not working. Like the remedy process had been hacked.
So thanks, United. Nice job.
Look at this. Look at this line. Good God, he's still going.
Oh, it keeps going. Literally, who knows how far this is. Folks earlier were saying that the line wasn't around the corner and it took them 5.5 hours to get up to the front. So that's really a good sign, I think. How is this even legal?
How is it legal?
Like, you should just automatically get a refund and be able to get a flight through the app. without the links breaking.
Without the links breaking.
Unbelievable.
So it writes here, stuck in line from hell, was supposed to leave Newark. Supposed to leave Newark at 9 p.m. Flight was delayed multiple times, then canceled at 1:23 a.m. I've never seen anything like this. United Airlines is a disgrace. The full video is too long to post, he writes. It's not just United, it's all these different airlines. How can that happen? If that's, just tell me this. Tell me this. If it's not some sort of coordinated cyber attack on multiple airlines and on the actual like hubs that run the air traffic, then how else can it happen? Don't give me this BS about, oh, it was a power cable in Warrenton, Virginia. Is that where the whole like aeronautics plugs in? Like all of the airports, all of the towers, they have a big ass plug that goes into the ass of Warrenton, Virginia. Is that what happens? Is that how it works? Give me a break. Give me a break, America. Give me a break, American government. It seems, and this is the thing that I think is sort of daunting to talk about it, and maybe is really scaring the United States government. But it seems like it's at all of these different levels, all the way down, like I said, to interfering with scheduling of flight crews. That would be the kind of thing that I would think, and this is something like Semiagog could speculate about. It's more of like his area, or Tim could speculate. But I mean, that's the kind of thing that a foreign government, if they really wanted to scare the hell out of another country, I would think that's what they would want, something like that. Not just, well, we shut down your radar towers, or we shut down, to hit everything all at once. To hit all the way down to the scheduling of crews and to what gates that planes are at. And if a plane is even there, or if a plane is in a certain city or not in a certain city. And then the apps for everybody to use to find new flights, the links breaking. Really? That is some unsettling developments, to say the least. Because if that could happen on that scale, and it's still for days trouble, what else? If it has a source like that, if this is not just some kind of a weird, perfectly understandable, perfect storm of the plug came out in Warrenton, and that's why this happened. If it's not that, and it's something bigger, like a cyber attack from, let's just speculate, China or Russia. Like, if you imagine a country that has the ability to build nuclear weapons, and they can deliver them around the planet anywhere, then maybe a country with that capability is also capable of doing this sort of thing, shutting down all travel. And this may be a warning, here at the beginning of summer, maybe a warning that we'll do this on your holidays. We'll do this on your Thanksgiving. We'll do this on your Christmas. We'll do this on your New Year's. We will wreck your country this way. I'm speculating. I don't know. I was just a guy who could look out my window and see that there was no bad weather where I took off and where I landed. And there was no turbulence, even though the pilot said not letting anybody get up. No passengers can get up. None of the crew can get up because of the bad turbulence. You'll have no service on the flight because of the bad turbulence. I'm told, other people are being told Dulles is on fire. There's no fire. Being told the weather in Dulles is bad, and that's why planes can't come from other places to Dulles. There's not a cloud in the sky, and I just landed. and it was smooth as ice all the way down. I'm just a guy that can do that. I'm just a guy that can be in DC and look out and say, okay, well, this is Reagan. There are no thunderstorms here, but people are being told there are. Shelly says she's got to check on her mom with no white guilt. Very cool. Linda says, WTF, who would have ever thunk it? Yeah, exactly. Patrick Cash says, are you wearing red lipstick? No, my friend, it's just called good genetics. There are a lot of guys, it's interesting. There are a lot of guys in the white sympathetic sphere that love to pay attention to my lips and tongue. And I find that very interesting. I'm sure you have a different reason. But the lipstick thing, no. Don't wear lipstick. Just big, glorious, suckable, luscious lips. Princess is here. Hello. Oh, she says, any homeschool curriculum recommendation? Schoolofthewest.world. Dean Brant Danger is in charge over there. Schoolofthewest.world. Please check that out as soon as you can. Supplemental materials, the best you will find. It's the biggest entity of its type on planet Earth. So please check it out, and then maybe you'll find out that you want to participate and help it grow, and that would be fantastic. King Fatah says, take the train. Well, maybe that'll be the next thing. Maybe we'll see all of a sudden the trains, all the scheduling is wrong. Oh, Biospirit of the West says something that is absolutely true. Flight crews now spend most of their time texting and ignoring passengers. Absolutely. And you know who else spends so much time texting and not doing what they're supposed to be doing? Employees at hospitals. I've had to, family members and all, go to visit at hospitals quite a little bit. And seriously, half the time I have to get the person's attention off their phone. Now I know they're gonna claim, oh, it's for work, but I've walked up at times and I see the face of their phone, and it's not work. So people are society's losing its mind. And then I was looking at this report on the radiation. I've read about the microwave radiation in cell phones long time ago, and how the most dangerous time is when a phone call begins. But I guess more people are talking about it, and that radiation, that microwave radiation again and again and again. And I don't know who was saying this. I'll have to go back and look again, but they were making a recommendation, at least, about not putting your cell phone in your pocket. Well, where are you supposed to put it? I guess, you know what? Maybe we have to develop an ankle pocket for your cell phone, because you have it right there, and you got all these organs, you got all these important bits right there. It's in your pocket, or if a woman's got it in her purse and it's hanging there. You see, and this is the thing that I'm gonna check the financial gifts before we get out of here, because it's after midnight. We gonna let it all hang out. What was I even talking about? I haven't slept in days. You're like, what's my name again? What am I even talking about? What am I even talking about? All right, let me take a look at what you all are saying. Take a look back. Let's take a look at the financial gifts. And I think maybe I'll tweet or retweet Rapunzel, maybe sharing those images of the explicit, like, contradictory information. Your plane is in this city and it's not available because of this. And then your plane is in this city and it's not available because of that. Well, which is it? I guess whatever the hacker says. Hacking away. Of course, that's not happening. Because Jack Sparrow will tell you. Jack Sparrow will let you know. Biospirit of the West says, Dandy Westman gets a statue. Damn right. Absolutely. Helios Abbott is here. Great to see you, brother. He says, I really enjoyed the Roland short today. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm going to try to do those. Hey, and remember that we have Jill Colton coming on Wednesday, the 28th. So keep an eye out for that roll-in. That's going to be fabulous. But yeah, the roll-in shorts are, hopefully, they're going to be easy for people to share and to, you're going to love on Sunday. You guys are going to love hearing the things that were told to me by people I didn't know, these wonderful spirits at this conference. You just have no idea how far our work has spread, how many lives it's affected. And you just could never know. You could never know. But it's so buoying. It's so heartening. It's so empowering. You're going to love it. Owning Anti-White Goblin says, this was right after the diversity hire thing for airplanes. When that happened, I decided I never wanted to travel by airplane ever again. Yeah, a few months after. I remember when I was a child, I had relatives that, or at least one, that became an air traffic controller, and it was rigorous. I remember hearing them talk about it. I was very young. And extremely stressful because of the rigor. Now they're like, oh, do you remember? It was like 2 years ago with Tucker, and he read some of the questions. Do you remember this? I think it was Tucker. But some of the questions were like, gosh, does anybody remember them? Oh, it was like, do you like math? What's your favorite sports team? For air traffic controllers. And and I think they ended up taking those questions out, but there were points awarded. Please go look it up for yourself. I don't remember exactly how. There were points awarded, like a lot of points. Oh yeah, did you play high school sports? And they awarded them, the applicant, a lot of points if they did play high school sports. If they played football, they got so many. If they played basketball, they got some more added. If they play. So what are they trying to get at was like, why do you need to have played sports in high school to be an air traffic controller? If you're an air traffic controller, I don't care if you can walk. I want you to be like Brainiac, knowing where all the planes are and where all the planes have to go. I want you to live it. I want you to sit down at your breakfast table before you go to work, and I want you to be lining things up on the table, just unconsciously, so that they can all crisscross and none of them touch. That's what I want you to be like. I do not need you to have bounced an orange ball. In fact, never touch one, ever. All right, Spike was here or is here with us. Great to see you. Amber, hello there, and welcome, sister. All right, so we got to bring more people in. Darth is here. The great Franklin is here. We got to bring some other folks in on this to get them researching it to see what happened. Because trust me, you don't want to be caught in this. You don't want to be caught hundreds of miles away from home or family members, somebody you care about. Hundreds of miles away from home. Can't get anywhere. Can't get a voucher that will work for food, for hotel, because it's all been screwed with somehow. You don't want that. And then the ripple effects throughout the economy. All right, let's get out some 07s, please. Some 95s in the live chat. Some raucous emojis of your choice. For the one and only, ladies and gentlemen. The one and only Dr. I. $25 financial gift. 25 white well-being dollars. God bless you, brother. 25. He says, no need to work on your eyes. They see clear for white well-being. Amen to that. That's cool. That's very cool. I'm talking about like my eyes are bloodshot and they did that weird thing while I was driving and staying awake for far too many hours. He's like, here's 25. No need to work on your eyes. They see clear for white well-being. God bless you. We really appreciate you, man. That's the great Dr. I. If there's anybody going to work on your eyes, it's Dr. I. Is there an eyeball emoji? Well, I open up the tab for the emojis, and it's like I'm back in. I don't know if this is YouTube doing this to me. I can load everything else quickly, but it's like I'm back in dial-up days. I'm waiting for that damn sound to get started. Come on, load the emojis, damn it. How am I supposed to celebrate? All right, well, what is this? Oh, well, here's some dinosaurs. Franklin is he's one of our epic animal raucous emojis when we celebrate. And so I'm following suit. Did it allow me to put my own, or no? Wouldn't that be funny? Come on, I can post to my own channel. Dr. Franklin's awesome. He's got like fireworks around Dr. I. That's cool. Victorian time traveler, Irish Nick, Franklin again, Helios Abbott, Biospirit of the West. Yeah, everybody who celebrates is totally awesome because that's what we do. We celebrate each other. That's what it's all about. We post leaflets. We talk to family members, and then we share the stories here. And I got some stories from people using the lexicon from this conference. You're going to love it. Great testimonials there too. Financially gift. We celebrate everybody who is an active participant of white well-being. All right. Let me swivel around. And we have, well. Definitely get out your raucous emojis. You know this is. Do you want to guess who this is? I just swiveled around. I look at entropy. Who might it be? Who might it be? With a big 50007 salutes for dude bro moment. And with those 50 white well-being dollars, he says, for white well-being. This guy, God bless you, dude bro moment. I'm gonna have to go and get that video I made where I incorporated your moniker, your name, and everything, and then play it Sunday. I'm gonna have to write a note to do that. I'm gonna try to remember to do that. Dude bro moment shows up every week, sometimes a couple or several times a week, and he's just 5-0. He's just dropping the 50s. Working class guy. I mean, big time, man. Big time salutes to you, brother. God bless you. Thank you so much. He's over on entropy. I don't know if entropy's working for anybody else. I'm going to have to see what I'd make another note to myself about trying to fix entropy, what the issue is. But Yiz said to me at the conference, she's like, entropy won't work for me at all. So I don't know. But thank you, Dude Bro Moment. Thank God it's still working for Dude Bro Moment. I don't know what he would do. He might like run for prime minister or president or something and then suddenly win if he lost his outlet. Who knows? I seriously have, every time working class people financially gift, and everybody here's financially working class. And I had one guy one time, he's like, Will, every time you exclude me because I own my business. And I said, you own your business. How many times a month do you have to check in on it? No, I start off with quarter. How many times a quarter do you have to check in on it? He was like, check in on it. I said, okay, well, how many days a month do you check in? He said, well, every day I work at it. It's my job. And I was like, then that's your job, man. You're working your ass off for a living. You're like this big owner. If like every quarter, you're like, what are the earnings? Then you're like this remote person. If you have to be there and work and make decisions and that's pretty regular, then you're working for a living. So nobody's getting excluded. We don't have, I wish we had people that just like checked in on like, what are the earnings this year for this spectrum of businesses I own? All right, let's see over here. Spartan says, looks like gave me a dragon sticker. That's cool. Blowing fire. And said a lot of expert older white guys are going to retire. They will discriminate against whites. Both will cause problems in running society. Oh, yeah. Without question. Yeah. It's like every year there's another wave of big retirements of highly trained, highly skilled white people, mostly white guys, in the areas that make society work. And they're being replaced by like that guy that had the shaved head and stole women's clothing out of their suitcases, out of their luggage. Maybe that guy's behind all of this. It's a giant conspiracy to steal luggage. What was his name? Somebody should check him out and see if he's up to no good. God, he was one of the ones that I was just like, when I saw that, him get appointed, I was just like, this is actual hell. Like any moment, Beelzebub is going to step out from behind the curtain and just be laughing at us. Absolutely. And looks like we have a do-over show donated a lemon of cryptocurrency. Thank you so much for that. And Board Troll, a lemon. Thank you very much for that. cryptocurrency, lemon's worth of cryptocurrency over there. And I can't read your name. Sorry. Is it Charlie? Gave me a sticker of a heart with like the little D-Live character in it. Thank you very much. All right. And blank over there on Odyssey. So didn't miss anybody. Awesome. Elaine says, Yiz didn't stream today. That's correct, because she was a force of nature, as she is, at the conference. And she was just from one person to the next person to the next person. I'm going to talk about it on Sunday. Just promulgating white well-being. It everywhere. Like I sat down, she's like, and here's another friend of mine, Jason. You got to meet him right now. He's this, that, and the other thing. He knows this. He reads these people. He's just, and she's like, and he's going to start saying anti-white too. And I was like, that's awesome. That is really cool. And then like, I would go to bed, like get up, have breakfast and everything. But at the end of the day, I was like, all right, I've gone with too many days with too little sleep. So stay as late as I could. But then you got to get up early for breakfast. So I was like, I got to get a couple, or surely my heart will stop. But she was staying up almost all through the night, like every night, all through the night. But she doesn't smoke. And she was spending a lot of the hours afterward on like the deck of this place. And a lot of the guys there, they smoke cigars and they use like a thing, And so she's inhaling this, and her voice was just getting more and more like mine right now. So she was like, I can't. Just not going to be able to stream on Monday. All right. Yeah, so she'll be back. No worries. She had a huge victory. We're going to celebrate on Sunday. A couple, actually. JC Denton is with us. Hello, brother. Celebrating dude bro moment as well. Throwing up a salute. I throw a salute up to you. Thank you. Samuski is here. Great to see you. Just looking through to see if anybody has tagged me. A couple of weeks ago, that was happening with flights from Texas to Chicago. Oh, really? Says Janice. Okay. Well. Maybe we got more evidence, potentially, of a foreign actor, maybe, and some sort of hacking, some sort of cyber attacks, cyber warfare, and of course, made infinitely easy by the fact that we have people hired on the basis of sex and race rather than competence in the United States. Time Traveler says, no, I killed. I have so many aliases, I forget my real name sometimes too. That's cool. Davey says, healthcare, air travel, law enforcement, all becoming more and more anti-white. We're definitely heading into some rough turbulence. He says, so true. Lavish is here. Hey, how are you doing, sister? I once worked with an anti-white, non-white, who, if she was talking, would answer the phone, then hang it up over and over. Now multiply that by thousands. Things stop working. Biospirit of the West was sharing that Yeah, thank you for sharing that, because I've seen that. I didn't see it like regularly, like you're talking about here. I was never in a situation to be able to see it regularly, but I've seen that, and you're right. You multiply that many times over. This is how civilization, the Western civilization, the way it will go to pieces, to detritus. It's not going to be like a light switch, or even like light switches. Like they'll be bing, bing, bing. It will be this almost intangible thing that just sort of like gets at you like a fog, and sort of clinging to you like spider web. And you'll just slowly notice this is more difficult, and it'll be this agitation that grows in you from just having to go out into the world. You all know exactly what I'm talking about. You all will have been experiencing that. Just going out and dealing with the world is becoming increasingly difficult, so that you're just incessantly put into a bad mood, a bad state, because you can't just go out into the world and have everything failing. And one of the worst things for you mentally is when you know that if I'm end up with this type of situation, I know that will go bad. And then you have this whole like angst builds up inside of you. And then it ends up being that kind of a situation. And it's just like a detonation. It destroys psyche. And when this happens, and there have been studies where anti-whites tried to prove that multiracialism was anti-whiteism by way of multiracialism was this glorious thing. And everybody was just going to usher in this new Shangri-La. There's going to be nothing but dancing in the streets and low prices and milk and honey from the trees. And they, of course, find out that no, people recoil from it. They don't feel a bond. They recoil. They stop participating, bowling alone. They stop participating in society. And one of the biggest reasons is not only these different biospiritual energies out there, but when the simple processes that worked in the past are now impossibly difficult. I mean, just try to get a remedy for like your cable billing that's gone bad. I mean, these things have become impossibly difficult to navigate, and intentionally so. And by that do I mean what? I don't mean intentionally so because the business wants to make it difficult for you. No, anti-whiteism has done this. Business would want to please you so that you remain a client, so that you pay for higher tiers, so that you could be upsold, so that you tell friends how great it is at this business. They don't want to put you into a state of abject misery so that they can keep that $25 false bill that they tacked on. Or when your internet isn't working, whatever it is, everything has become impossible to navigate. And that's a consequence of anti-whiteism. That's a consequence of the people being hired on the basis of race and sex rather than competence or excellence. It's a consequence of the entitlement that many of the different anti-white groups live their lives with. So they don't have to perform. They just need to be given because they've named themselves victim, and you now owe them for it. You think about, you go to the doctor's office. I went to the doctor's office. I got to even tell you all about this physician that did this. I got to get out of here, but on my face, the surgery for the fight scar. And I never experienced this that I can recall. I went into this office, and I'll just add, it doesn't have to be this way, but the reality was or is that everybody at the office is white. And the woman who received me at the receptionist desk, she looked directly into my eyes. She had a big smile, and she asked how I was, and I told her I was fine. I gave her my name and asked her she was, and she actually gave a full response. One of the other, and this will be the last one. I mean, because there are so many things during this experience that was radically different from elsewhere. The nurse called my name, and what do you experience? I mean, it could even be, it could be white people who are anti-white or just so beat down by anti-whiteism. It could be non-white people who are anti-white or beat down by anti-whiteism. They come out and they're like, Jason. And then as soon as you get up there, they turn their back and start walking away. And you're like following them like it's your turn to go into the camp showers and be beaten or something, You're like, that's the kind of treatment you get at the receptionist. You walk up and it's like, I can tell you this other doctor office, and then I'll tell you about this good nurse. They always have 3 females at this receptionist desk. They're not white. They're non-white. They're big. They're big. They're not little. They are large people. And their tone and all is friendly enough. They're like, they're like, hi, what's your name? That's what they're like. Hi, what's your name? All right. You have your card? Okay, let me see that. Okay, there you go. This is the, like matter of fact, perfunctory. I fucking hate you. I hate this country. I hate you. Like this is, and then you're like, I've got to get these documents because I got to send them over to this other doctor. And they're like, the look on their face, it's like, now I know I'm going to have to begin this like 40-minute long conversation with you because somehow we can't communicate. For some reason, this very simple thing, like I need this paperwork to go to this other doctor, that's got to go to this other doctor. And I can tell by the look on your face that it just can't happen. Or that I got to have like this long, and you're going to have to go to talk to somebody else and then come back. And it's like all of these, not only can we like not communicate, somehow there's some kind of communication that's broken there, but there are all of these rules in place that have to be in place when human beings are just these atomized robots. Where if we weren't atomized robots, we'd be able to look at each other like human beings and say, oh, I get what you're trying to say. I know what you're trying. I know exactly. And I'll just make this happen right now. No, it's like now we have to, because nobody can get along. Nobody's on like the same wavelength. Because we have all these different biospirits, and you have so many people who just think the white race is the most evil thing on the planet. And that's what they see, especially when they see a white guy walk in. That's it. Boom. They've just categorized you. And so you have to have all of these complex rules and ways of doing things now to enable these disparate entities to sort of function together. You know that face I'm talking about. Well, here's the difference. I walk up at this other office. The nurse is standing. She calls my name. I walk up, and she sticks out her hand to shake my hand. She says, hello, my name is, gives me her name. Facing me, not turning away, not walking away, not frowning. This was like a completely normal interaction, and it felt totally alien. Because my whole life, I don't get to experience that. That's one of the things that people who are younger than the boomers get so angry about and impatient about with older white people, is you got to have those doctor office visits where you didn't have to have like this complex codes and everything to be able to communicate just to get a piece of paper or paperwork here or there, or to get a medicine or something like this. You got to have these environments where everybody got along, everybody understood each other. And so now we're like, look at this world where I can't even fix like my cable bill without having to be on the goddamn phone for an hour and a half. And no, it's not the business. You know, for all of these folks out there who want to try to make everything about these even more selfish individualists, like the libertarian, super selfish individualists. They're like, oh, it's just about the business, and they just want to make it difficult to have to remedy problems. Of course they don't. How stupid. They just, no, what it is that you're just a chicken shit and you won't say that race has something to do with it. That's the problem. Anyhow, as you can see, these are things we have to experience. And it just makes living miserable. It makes it difficult and miserable. And that's what they've saddled us with. And that's why I am such one of the main reasons that I'm such a proponent of the Go Free method, because it undermines what they're doing. We can reclaim those environments where we can get along, where we don't need the complex code to be able to get a piece of paper, the codes and rules in place to get a piece of paper, where we don't need all of those things, where we can make anti-whites feel as uncomfortable as they have made us feel. And that's probably one of the best places to wrap up this roll-in this evening. Let's make the anti-whites feel as uncomfortable as they have made us feel. That's one of the best things to do, by the way, if you're at a party and anti-whites have specialized, and we're going to be celebrating an interaction that Irish Christ had. Anti-whites have specialized in shaming you and making you feel uncomfortable for being a heretic to anti-whiteism. Well, turn the tables on them. Shame them. Make them feel uncomfortable. Say to them, how dare you in this space when we have friends over or whatever, say something so anti-white. That's despicable that you would think that way. And I'm ashamed of you. Do that with an anti-white. Let's put them outside the community. Let's put them outside the window, looking in at the warm, picturesque setting of the happy people around the turkey. All right. Let's put them on the outside, out in the cold, out in the snow, out in the misery, until either they do one or two things: change their mind about being anti-whites or freeze the hell to death. Roll out.